military, or 6 p.m. as we say in the civilian world. So we're going to all stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay? Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. I know it's really a night to stay home, but I'm glad to see that some of us braved the elements that came out today. We're going to have a short description of what the proposed changes to the CC&Rs are. A lot of people can't remember what they stand for. I'm one of them, so I look it up. And when you see covenants up there, I don't know, in our generation, but I think most of us probably first heard covenants when we read about the Pilgrims coming on the Mayflower. That they all got together and they signed a covenant before the ship landed. And what they did is they all got together and agreed, this is how we want to run the Plymouth colony that we're about to do. And so our CCs and Rs are sort of the same way. But there's a bit of a difference, so let me back up here. This was our beginning. We weren't here. We weren't at sea, about the land. We were scattered all over the United States. We had zero input to the CC&Rs. Not one word, not one line, nothing. So the builders and the investors wanted to make sure that we had a set of rules as we started trickling in. And they proposed rules that were adopted from our sister HOA in Hemet. They just imported them over and said, here they are, they worked in Hemet, they'll work here. You're the same kind of people, you do the same things, it's just identical. But as we filled in and as we've grown, we have become a different community than the HOA that's at Hemet. So one of the things that we want to do, because it is our community, and we're now roughly 90% filled, we kind of know how we are, who we are, and certainly where we are. So we want to tailor the rules. We want to make changes to some of the rules that really don't fit too well with the way we want to govern ourselves. And so we've got 3 proposed changes we're going to talk about tonight. It's hard to find a picture for change, but I think that one does. It doesn't mean anything about the current rules. It just means that we want to make some changes. And so here's the ones we're going to talk about. We have 3 of them. See, that's a picture for 3. You all identify with that. We're going to talk about 2 that apply to voting and 1 that applies to contracting. So you can change what's going on here. The first one is district delegates. When the rules are written for HOAs, experience has shown that many HOAs have very poor participation by the people who live there. They don't care, they moved here, they got a house, whatever goes on they don't care about, they don't vote. So in order to get the vote out, they create a system called district delegates. Back, if you live in New York, it's called a whip. It's a person that drives you, annoys you enough that you'll submit your ballot and vote. We have right now about 100 one district for every 100 people. So with 1,700 people, that's 17 district delegates. Now, it's not just a matter of the board or the people appointing a district delegate. We have to have an election because for some reason the rules think this is a coveted position. Well, we have to browbeat people into becoming district delegates. It's not because we don't pay them, it's because it's a problem for them to get out the votes. Now, in order for us to elect them, we have to send out ballots so that the people that don't vote can not vote for the district delegates. So we don't have the district delegates yet, so we have the problem of getting the people who don't vote, and we need district delegates to vote for the district delegates. It's a complicated system. I'm not sure who designed it, but it's costly. It cost us about $3,000 to run an election just for the district delegates. We have yet, in our biannual elections, to really have had a need for the district delegates to do that. Between the staff and our great friends in the Neighborhood Watch, we've gotten people to vote. So that has not been a problem. The biggest concern that a lot of people have is under the rules, if you're a district delegate and you have 100 houses that are supposed to vote, and you get 49 to vote, that's all. We can't open those ballots. Instead, we take you, the district delegate, and say, you can vote 100 votes for whoever you want. So if the 49 people voted for candidate A, and the district delegate lives next door to candidate B, and really likes candidate B, the district delegate can vote 100 votes for delegate B. So you, 49 people, have lost your vote, hasn't counted, and you have paid for the $3,000 for election. So we want to completely eliminate the whole district delegate system. That doesn't mean we won't have people out pursuing votes, getting everyone to vote, but it does mean that everybody who votes, their vote will count. So that's the first of the proposals that we hope to change, is to eliminate the district delegate. The second one has to do with cumulative voting. This is a system that's kind of foreign to most of us when we move in here. We're used to, particularly on the county ballots, where they have district judges or they have school boards or hospital boards, you've got 3 openings, you've got 9 candidates, so you can have 3 votes. But you can only vote once for each candidate. Well, the cumulative voting that's put in for some reason in our CC&R says if there's 3 candidates and 1 position, which there will be next spring when we vote, you could, if there were 3 positions, you'd get 3 votes. So you could take those 3 votes and put them all on 1 person. I don't know why you would do that, but you can do that. It has no influence on how the board gets organized, because the board only votes, for the president and the secretary and the treasurer positions based on their interest, their experience and background, and what they want to do. So voting more than once for a single candidate doesn't seem to have any applicability to what we're trying to do in organizing and running the HOA. So we want to eliminate that. It's confusing, and we think it should be removed from the CC&Rs. The last one has to do with energy contracts. Because there is ample evidence of many HOAs where the current board has committed the HOA with a long-term contract for services or some other activity purchases, and the new board takes over and they're unable to break the contracts. Our CC&Rs limit us to a contract for 1 year only. This applies to First Service. We have to renew their contract every year. It applies to our landscapers, who are the biggest cost that we have. It applies to everything we do. But we're in a new technology area now with solar. And solar is a different animal. Because if you enter into a multi-year contract with a solar company, they will put the solar panels up within a couple of months of your contracting, and you will start getting a return on your investment at that time. All that free sunlight that we have coming in here will go into those solar panels and get recorded by the energy company, and they will start reducing your obligation for energy at that point in time. You won't necessarily lower your bill because you have to pay for the solar panels. And you'll pay for the solar panels by using that energy credit that you get from the Southern California Edison to help pay for the cost of installing and owning the solar panels. That can take anywhere from 7 to 10 years. In our case, because we have so many sunshiny days here, it's probably on the shorter end of that. This week, while we've had these winds blowing at a considerable pace, it has had no effect on the solar credit. I have solar panels, and I checked today. Yesterday, I got the same amount I did as if the wind wasn't blowing, because the sun doesn't care if the wind's blowing. It goes onto that panel, and it makes energy. So for us, we want to be able to heat one of the outdoor swimming pools, the one at the courts. We want to also capture all the energy we can to help run the buildings. We will reach a point in time when we have to replace our roofs. And the technology at that time, we think, will be solar tiles on our roof. So we will be capturing all the energy we can. The energy company right now is in the process of raising the rates, and so they will never come down, they will always go up. But once you have the solar panels up there, you start collecting that energy, your rates are going to probably stay the same. So from a standpoint of cost savings over the long run, and most of us hope to be here over the long run, it makes sense to go into a multi-year contract. This is just for energy now. We're not asking for permission to use a multi-year contract for anything other than energy for gas or electricity. So that's a consideration that we have. So those are the 3 areas, and now I will answer questions about these CC&R changes. Vivian?
On the voting, I came to the other meeting and I'm not coming out with the same conclusion. Can you clarify that? I thought we get 1 vote per residence.
We get 1 vote per resident for each position. If there are 3 positions up for election, last April there were 4 positions open. So you had 4 votes. You could have taken all 4 votes and given them to 1 candidate.
So what are we changing?
We're changing it so you can only vote for each candidate once.
Oh, okay. You still get 4, but you got...
You'll still get 4 votes. You don't have to vote all 4 times. If you don't like the other 3 candidates, you don't vote for them. But
say there's 8 candidates, you got 4 votes.
yeah, if there's 8 candidates and you have 4 votes, you apportion 1 for each position. Your vote is for the number of positions and for each position, if you think of it that way. And so, who do you want in position A, position B, position C, and position D? And you vote for those 4 positions. Next question. Yes?
On the cumulative voting, If you only vote once, don't vote for the other three.
Yeah.
What's the rules for election? Do they have to have a majority of the votes cast? Or is it just, you know, simple?
Actually, the rules for elections are you count the votes for each candidate, and the one with the highest gets the first position, the one with the second highest gets the second position, and the one with the third highest gets the third position. We have not, in our recent elections, have had more candidates than we've had positions. So it kind of has been irrelevant to date. There's not a lot of volunteers willing to run for office, is what it boils down to. Other questions?
Last time you were talking about it, there was only one person running, and we were going to go to the expense of voting.
Okay. Yeah, there's a rule passed, and Eric, you might have to help me on this because I've seen something recently about it.
I sent you an email.
If there's not more candidates running than there are positions, in other words, if you have 4 positions and you have 3 candidates, you don't have to actually go through the process of making an election. Now, some people have said, well, that doesn't allow you to have write-ins. And I guess it depends. You know if our CC&Rs allow write-ins?
They do.
Okay, so if they allow write-ins, then we have to have a cutoff date for when the write-ins are accepted. Because if you say we don't have to have an election and someone wants to write it in, we can't really follow that rule.
Yeah, and the California legislature was looking at that so that homeowners associations could have elections by acclamation, and it did not pass. Right? It did pass the legislature, but the governor vetoed it. So that's not an avenue that we can take at this point in time. You got a question back here?
On the multi-year contracts, you're going to go for just energy only. Is there going to be an opportunity for homeowners to weigh in on the terms of the contract before it's granted?
Okay, the question is, if we go for a multi-year contract, will there be an opportunity for the homeowners to weigh in? What we will do in the normal process is we first identify exactly what we want. You know, we want to bid on, let's say, do we want to just get hot water, or do we want to get electricity? So that's the first question. So we have to write up what we call a proposal, and the proposal goes out for bids, and we will have to get 3 bids, and the bids will come in, and then they will have to be evaluated by the appropriate committees. And that's more than one committee, because finance is part of it. And probably community planning and transition is one, possibly facilities as well. So those 3 committees. And the homeowners, and when the committees are weighing it, they will invite the homeowners to participate because they will be doing the evaluations. So yes, there will be an evaluation before it comes to the board, and the 3 committees will in fact probably end up with some sort of recommendation as to which of the 3.
Also, for our other vendors on site, we're not going to look at multi-year contracts for them, because I know where I used to work.
Yeah.
I did a lot of multi-year contracts for the campus that I was involved in, and usually with a vendor, if I could do a multi-year contract, I can usually get it.
Yeah, well, right now we're prohibited from doing multi-year contracts. We have, you know, our biggest contract by far, by a long shot, it is in landscaping. And so what we've done, rather than having a single landscape contractor, we've opted to have 3, so that they have to bid against each other. And we expand and contract each of the contracts depending upon the results of what the proposals coming back from the bidders are. So we're able to hold down our cost and increase our response from contractors that way. We evaluate per service every year. We talk to other HOAs that don't have per service to make sure that we're getting the best. And in actuality, over the last couple of months, we've been being the voice of experience for 2 other HOAs who are evaluating first service too. It's difficult for many of the other HOAs to believe that we're as good as we are here. But we've given our HOA a good strong endorsement. And if you read the problems that some of the other HOAs have, we're very lucky. So, but yes, we do on an annual basis look at that, and I don't know if there will be a point in time, certainly not in the near future, where we say we want to go to multi-year contracts for other services or other goods than we currently have. I mean, the Smitty's and the people in the salon, they have to have their contracts renewed each year as well. So that's a big process. We have over 100 contracts.
Yeah, 90.
Yeah, close to 100 contracts. And the board reviews them on a monthly basis. We have 3 this month, 4 next month, what have you. And we look at them in detail. So they're all scrutinized, yes. Next question. Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question, but it's not on these 3 things.
Well,
Is that allowed or no?
really,
Okay.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
Yeah. But come to the open board meeting and bring it up. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. Well, got one more here.
Quick question. What is the cost associated with submitting these to the real estate commission and so forth? Did they figure out what it would cost to change CC&Rs?
What will it cost to change the CC&Rs? Well, it costs $3,000 to go out for any type of bid. That's the postage mostly that we have to send out and an evaluation. Once the CC&Rs, if it's approved, 50%, then the first service, who are already paying for their service, will have to get it up through the process and get it recorded with the county. The cost is probably fairly minimal. I would say the most cost is the lawyer drawing up the legal fees that goes with it, which they've already paid for in order for it to go out for a ballot. So it's a sunk cost for us already. So any additional cost would be if we have to go in front of the judge with the lawyer, but when we did it in the past, I don't think they took a lawyer with them. I don't know for sure.
What are the next steps to get all of this done?
What are the next steps? Well, I see there's a whole bunch of ballots over there in Rock Center North mailed out. So that's the next step. After that, we put up the big thermometer out front to show you how many ballots have come in, so we can start building people to vote for it and everything. And when we have sufficient number in, we have to have well over 50%. Then we'll have a cutoff and say, okay, we need someone like Barbara back there to supervise the opening of the ballots and counting of the ballots. And assuming we have over 50%, then we go back to the lawyer and say, take the paperwork forward.
So, my understanding, these are the only 3 things we're going to be voting on?
Yes, these are the only 3 things you'll be voting on. We have thought about a couple of others, but it gets too complicated. And if it gets too complicated, people say, I don't have time, vote no for everything. So what we're trying to do is keep it very simple, straightforward, nothing controversial to our knowledge right now with these 3 proposals. Later we might get into something controversial, but not this particular one. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
When is this voting going to happen?
Right now.
Oh, right now.
The ballots were picked up by the post office today, so there's 1,700 ballots are in the mail. The date for the election or opening right now is scheduled for December 17th, as long as we get to the 67%. The inspectors of election can push that out if we don't have quorum.
We would like to be effective before we vote next April
Yeah,
for the position. So things slow down over the holidays, people get distracted. So if we mail them out today, odds are it will be January before we're counting the ballots. Other questions? Okay, thank you all for coming.